Hello everyone, I'm Cyndi Hansen and we are thrilled to have Nancy Paredes here with Avalon Waterways, and you're a cruise director.
Yes, I am, Cyndi.
Oh, that's so exciting to have actual cruise director here with us. Tell me how you became a cruise director.
Well, I've been in the tour business for about 30 years. I've done tours on buses, on planes, on trains. And in 2002, I got a call from Europe saying, you know what, time for you to come home, and why don't you work on a river ship? So I went over and I worked for several different companies, and then I ended up at one point stopping, having my own shop, and then cruise directing called me back, and I joined Avalon, and I'm really happy with this company.
So river cruising, you know, we're hearing that it's the hottest trend now for vacationers, especially for vacationers that like to cruise. And river cruising is just a little different than ocean ship cruising. Tell us what the differences are.
You know, I would say there's a few differences that you need to know. Ocean cruising is wonderful, but river cruising is a different animal. We both have water and we both have ships, and that ends right there. We have average of 138 to 168 people on our ships, unlike the thousands of ocean cruising. But what you have to realize about river cruising is that we are not doing the peripherals of a continent. We're going right through the heart of Europe. So we're stopping at all those historical towns and those charming little villages. And river cruising is a very relaxed product, and we can really cater it to our guests. They might be clients to you all, but they're guests to me. And that's one of the biggest differences.
What kind of clients are you getting? Individuals that like to river cruise?
Yeah,
what are they like?
You know what? A majority of our people are actually only experienced ocean cruises. So their travel agents have actually painted a picture about a river cruise, why this would be so spectacular. So we have a lot of people coming on not really sure, but of course they like the allure of unpacking once. And again, we don't have ocean days because what I'm showing you every day is spectacular scenery along on both sides of my ship. When I started in 2002, most of the people were about 80 years old. They had no clue about river cruising. The travel agents didn't really know how to sell it very well. They would come onto my ships and say, you know, where's the pool and where's the casinos and where's the showgirls? Mm-hmm. And I would have to disappoint them by saying the pool is on the left and the right of the ship, the casino's on land, and I'm your showgirl. And you can imagine that wasn't always received well. But nowadays, thanks to the sophistication, and it's becoming, like you said, the hottest trend, more and more people are understanding what we do. So, yeah, it's just a great product.
So as a cruise director, what exactly do you get to do during the day?
Unlike, again, big ocean ships where I'll have a crew of 14, I am the crew for my staff. So I am very hands-on. I'm with you all the time. I always say a cruise director on a river ship, we're not just doing the welcome messages or introducing shows. I am a cruise director, I'm a concierge, I am a historian, I'm a teacher, I'm a psychologist sometimes,
Wow.
and Santa Claus.
Can I take you home with me?
Yes, you can. No, the thing is that you have to remember that I'm having 138 or to 164 guests. They're coming to Europe, and they all have individual expectations. So my job is to really meet those expectations of everyone. Mm-hmm. Again, because we're a product that can be very flexible, I can make it happen. You know, I sometimes have people that have never been to Europe. It's their very first time. So I need to give them more of a structured program. Mm-hmm. And then I have people that have come to Europe and know Europe probably better than I do. So they don't need to see necessarily our structured program. If they want, of course, they're invited to. But what I do is I listen. You know, or maybe I'll make a suggestion. Cyndi, this is your 6th time to Vienna. You may go on my structured tour, that's included, but what are you interested in? You know, what art museum do you want to see? Do you want to see military history? You want to see Lippos on horses? Or you just want to hit every fabulous bakery in Vienna? You know, what do you want? And I can make that happen. Wow. That's why I like river cruising, the flexibility, and I can take care of the guest, what they want.
Right, it's like their own personal guided tour.
Very, very much. I mean, some people come on our ships and, you know, again, because it's a pace, your pace, not my pace, mm-hmm. I come here every week. Some people need days where they just want to relax on the ship. And if they do, that's fine. The big thing that people need to know is that river cruising is very inclusive. You know, I just moved back to the States. I'm between Budapest and Florida. I just moved back with my husband. And living in Florida, everyone has those $4.99 Caribbean specials.
Right.
And then they say, well, what do you do for a living? And I tell them I'm a cruise director on a river ship. And they're like, oh, can you get me that $4.99 special? Then I show them my catalog, and they see what a beautiful ship it is, that it's not quite the barge they had envisioned, or not quite like the big ocean ship. And then they look at the price, and they say, well, this isn't $4.99. And I say, yeah, you know, we are an inclusive price. Let me ask you a question on that great $4.99 deal. How much was your bar bill by the end of the cruise? And how much did all those tours add up? And when they add all that up from their $4.99 special to our inclusive price on a river ship, it's very, very comparable. So again, I think sometimes that it shocks them that it looks like it's so expensive, but again, we're all inclusive. We pretty much cover anything. The only extras on a river ship is if you want extra cocktails, or you do want to do an additional structured optional tour, and we're very limited to that, or your gratuities.
So the excursions are included as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Can I just tell you about a typical day on a river ship to
Please
kind of
do.
give your
I would love that.
agents an idea? Typical day on a river ship, you have to realize food is very important. I think we can all agree to that. So a typical day on a river ship is this. At 6 o'clock, which nobody has to get up, but at 6 o'clock we have an early riser breakfast. It's continental breakfast, they can help themselves. That's about an hour. Then at between 7 and 9, we have an included breakfast buffet. And not only do we have, of course it's included, but the breakfast buffet has complimentary champagne or mimosa, as much as you want. Some people are on vacation, they want a whole bottle. Some people maybe want a glass, maybe they don't want it at all. But we're going to offer it to them. And that's 2 hours whenever you want to come. Now, on river ships, you should realize or know that we are open seating. And the reason why we do open seating is because we really want everyone to mix and mingle and get to know each other. Again, we're 140 people having an adventure together, and maybe you meet this wonderful couple during one of the tours, and you want to spend extra time with them. So we really encourage the mixing and meeting. If they don't want to, we have tables for two that they can have their own privacy also. Then we have late riser breakfast in case you missed earlier normal breakfast. Or if you miss late riser breakfast, you can have breakfast go to your room. So we've got you covered on that. Lunchtime we do included sodas. And we do regional cuisine as well as just general North American palate food that everybody can find to like to eat. And then, of course, we're in Europe, so we have afternoon tea and coffee, very important. And then dinner, this is the one time we ask our guests not to wear shorts, to wear pants or the ladies' skirts, because we're going to do a 5-course proper service. That means we serve everything in courses, and we need everyone to be on time. Now on that, we give you the complimentary soda, we give you the complimentary beer, and then we give you a magic wine glass.
Magic wine glass?
Magic wine glass. What this means is we're serving during dinner complimentary red or white wine from the region. Napa wine from a box. That'd be great if you're in California, but I'm in Europe with some of the finest wine regions. So if I'm on the Rhine River, I'm going to give you Rhine wine. If I'm on the Danube wine. And the magic glass, what I mean by that, is every time you take a sip and you put it down, it magically refills as much as you want. Now, if you take that glass back to your cabin, it doesn't work, okay? But in the dining room, it's as much as you possibly would like to have. And then after all that food, if you're still hungry, I have a late night snack. Now, during dinner, when you're eating and drinking that magic wine, I'm in my office doing the newsletter. Because during dinner, we have the cabin stewardess do a turn-down service. And they're going to get the program for the next day, the weather, the highlights, if they might want to join it, might not. This is what the guest would get.
Wow.
And you can see that there's just all sorts of maps and history.
Wow, that's just a great thing to be able to take back home with you and just, keep it as a memento.
Here you go. You can have one
I
right away.
appreciate that. So after all the dining, Nancy, tell us about what kind of entertainment they can expect.
Well, on our river ships, again, we bring in regional entertainment. Again, depending on what area we're in. Also, we have lectures come on. I do port talks every night. I'll sometimes also do lectures. And so we entertain you quite a bit. But some cruise ship or river ship companies tell you that we do entertainment every night. And I want to let you know, we don't do entertainment every night because sometimes less is more. What you have to understand about river cruising is that when people are going on these river cruises, they are getting so stimulated by the culture, the scenery, the history. They're seeing so much. They're outside of their own little world. And so some nights after those wonderful dinners, we want you just to relax and to talk to each other and to just take a night off. I know it sounds really appealing to have constant stimulation like the big ships, but trust me, you sometimes just need a night to just enjoy your scenery, let it pass by, and be with your new friends. So we try to offer a really good balance.
It sounds like such an intimate experience.
It really is. That's the whole appeal of river cruising. It can be multi-generational. I have a lot of times, I have couples, again, our average age on river cruising right now is about 45 to 80. Sometimes I'll have honeymooners in their 20s. A lot of times I have families, or I have maybe moms and their daughters, or dads and their sons. So it really can appeal to everybody. There's not one set market, because there's something to do for everyone.
Wow.
It's great.
So what are the cabins like compared to like ocean ship cruising?
On river ships, Avalon has the largest cabins on the river. We're 30% larger than any other ship. They're 172 square feet, so we're quite large. The thing about the Avalon ships is that they're very consistent. And consistency is a big key for Avalon. We have 3 levels on a river ship. You have your bottom, you have your 2 decks, and then actually we have 4 because we have the sun deck on top. So when you walk into the ship, I just kind of wanted to lay out for you. You walk into the ship, you have reception, the cruise director's desk, and you have the main lounge, which is our living room, in the front of the ship. And then in the back of the ship, you have the 3 different layers, the 3 different decks. Because our cabins are all 172 square feet, there's no difference between them, no matter what level you're on. I like that we're not classing you out. The only difference on river ships is window size. On the top 2 decks of our ships, we have French balconies. French balconies means the doors open and the outside comes in, the fresh air comes in. Now obviously we can't do it on the lowest level of our ship, because if you open the door you would get water and fish. Okay, so probably not a good thing. But our bottom floor has the big windows, so you can look out. To be honest with you, most of us spend our time on the sun deck or the main lounge or the aft lounge, but some people just like when they sit in their rooms to have that fresh air option. The cabins themselves are really nicely appointed. You can have a queen bed put together or 2 large twins, depending on the configuration of your client or our guest. You have a mini bar. It's not complimentary, but we have a mini bar there. I like that we have that because if I have any diabetics or anybody who has medication that needs to be refrigerated, they can do it in their room, versus on some ships you'd have to give it to the front desk or to the bar. We have complimentary water, still and sparkling, and we refill it every day because we want you to drink it. We want you to bring it on tour with you. We have the safes and the hair dryers. We have really good ample closet space, which is very important. And then the greatest thing is that you can put your suitcases under the bed, so you're not tripping over it. So we want you to unpack once and be really comfortable. My favorite part of the cabin is the bathroom. The bathrooms are they're just really well designed. And the best thing I say is when you drop the soap into the shower, you can actually bend over and pick it up.
You don't have to pick it up with your toes.
You don't have to pick it up or do the shimmy or call for your spouse or friend. You can actually pick it up yourself. I think that's right there.
That's good to know. That's definitely good to know.
Yeah, so we love that.
Great.
So and of course there's air conditioning or heated, individual climate control, but they're really nice rooms.
Okay, great. Now, can you give me an idea what some of the itineraries are like?
Can I tell you my favorite one?
Sure.
My favorite itinerary is the Blue Danube Discovery. It starts in Budapest. Budapest, not Budapest. Budapest. And the reason why I like starting in Budapest is the fact that this is one of the very few cities in Europe that the river actually dissects the city. So you've got Buda, hilly Buda on one side, flat Pest on the other, and Old Buda. So people don't know a lot about Budapest, so they don't have any really too much preconceived ideas. And when they get there, they're just like, wow. Because Gustav Eiffel, from the Eiffel Tower fame, he did a lot of architecture in Budapest. It is called the Paris of the East. And it's just a wonderful way to start your trip. I mean, again, already your expectations are are, you know, they're past it. Then we get on our ships, and our ships are, again, when you walk on, wow. A lot of times people don't realize how beautiful our ships are. And then we start sailing. And when we're sailing, we go past Slovakia, Bratislava, the capital of that country, and we'll go to Vienna. Of course, Vienna, I think, is one of my favorite cities. You know, it's the capital of 8 million now, but at one point it was the capital of 50 million during the Habsburg Empire. So it's this very grand royal city that only caters to only 8 million now. So we'll go to Vienna, we'll continue on our rivers and see things like the Schleugener Schlinge, which is a part of the river that curves like a snake, castles and villages and abbeys, and then we go through Germany, and then when we get off in Germany, we take a bus. It's a 2.5 hour, we do it 3 hours because we do a break, and we end up in Prague. And Prague, again, wow. So wow, wow, wow.
And all these great experiences all in one trip. Do you, how long when you stop, how long do you stay?
It depends, you know, we have over 100 itineraries. So it really varies on the itinerary and what this particular program's doing. But, you know, typically we're going to stay half a day to a whole day. Maybe we'll stay overnight. But we, you know, and I tell everyone right away when I meet them, you're never going to have enough time. You know, you need 3 weeks in Vienna. So, but this is going to be a taste of Europe at a leisurely pace, and we're going to show you the heart and the best parts of each city. Because, Cyndi, some people, as I mentioned, this is their first time, some have been here a million times, and sometimes it's their last time coming to Europe. So we want to give them the best of the city of the time we have. So that's a really important feature too.
Wow. Now you have a new ship, the Panorama.
Panorama.
You tell us a little bit about that ship. What makes it so spectacular?
We're so excited. Listen, folks, when you look at river cruising, and I just kind of want to put this out there in general, a lot of companies will tell you they have refurbished ships. Wow, wow, wow. I'm not a big fan of refurbished ships. I'll tell you why. I'm really proud Avalon has new ships. We're bringing out new ships all the time. Reason why, number one, technology changes. With refurbished ships, I always say it's like having a facelift, you know, or something lifted. It might look nice and tight and pretty, but guess what? The guts are still the same on the inside. So I think it's really important you go with a newer ship, better technology. And of course, every time we bring a ship out, we learn something, how we can do something better. So our newest ship coming out, we're having the Panorama this year, and then 2 sister ships coming out next year. She is our first all-suite ship, which means on the bottom, 3 levels again, the bottom level is going to be 172 square feet, our deluxe stateroom size, consistent. But the second 2 levels are going to be 200 square feet, all
That's very
suites.
roomy.
And then we have what I call super suites. They're called royal suites. They are actually 300 square feet. And what they've done, I mean, everyone loves the French balconies, but on these ships, we even have the door configured so it just makes you don't really look at the door, it really brings the outside in. And if I can just mention a little travel tip for some of you out there, that a lot of the ships are coming out, the new ships these companies bring out have little balconies. Okay, now that's really great for ocean ships when you have warm tropical weather and you can use it all the time. But please realize that we're going to go through a series of locks on the rivers. If you come with me from Budapest to Amsterdam, we're going to go through 68 locks. Okay, 68, it's a lot, big number. The first 5 you're excited, and after that you're pretty used to it. But our locks can only be 38 meters wide. Okay, I cannot make the ship any wider or they're not going to fit through the lock. The locks, again, are 38 meters. Our ships are 37.5 meters. Means I have like half an inch or inch on each side when I go through a lock.
Wow.
Okay? So knowing that, so when we're sailing nowadays and we see one of these ships that have these outdoor balconies, I do hear my guests go, oh, look at that ship, it has a balcony. And I say, no worries. 2 things I want you to consider. 1, the weather. I have a feeling the weather can be like Ohio weather or wherever, a lot of these states where we have 4 seasons in one day. So I always tell people, if you're going to pack for Europe, think like an onion. You're going to be either adding it on or peeling it off. So those outdoor cabins, how often would you use it? I'm not really sure. Again, if you're in the Caribbean, I know, but in Europe, I'm not sure. The second thing is, because of that 37.5 meters, where do you think that space comes from?
Right.
You know, it comes from the cabins. And when we sail by, I always ask my guests who are thinking that they should have been on that ship to please take a look in. And when we sail by and they look in, they kind of go, oh, got it, because the cabin is so much smaller. So again, marketing versus functionality and practicality. So I just kind of, there's a lot of little things when you're looking at these catalogs for all these different companies. Some of them market very well, but there's really kind of a functionality, practicality that they forget. And why they do this is because people are used to ocean cruising. And again, we're not anything like that. You know, we don't have long days at sea. On the ocean cruise, the destination's pretty much the ship. You know, that's how come they have all the bells and whistles. On river cruising, the destination's a destination. And that's the big, big difference.
Big difference. Now,
Yes.
what are the itineraries? Are 7 days?
We have anywhere, this year we're starting 3 days, because we're having a lot of business people come over. They spend a couple extra days. They want to see the river. They want to see Europe, and seeing it through a river is the best way. So it can go from 3 days to 28 days.
I think that would be just a great way just to experience it. If you're not quite sure, get on a 3-day sailing and try it out.
Try it.
Great.
And once you come, you'll always come back. And that's the big thing. Again, most of our people have only done ocean. And once they do a river, a lot of them are like, that's it, I'm hooked.
Wow.
And, you know, we don't want people just to have a one-time experience. We want them to come back and come back and come back. And we say we're not one-time Sallies. There's so much to see in Europe, so many different options, that this is, again, just a great product.
Now, do your ships just go to Europe, or do they go to other destinations?
Actually, we go to, I work only on the European ships. We also do the French rivers, I do want to mention. The most popular seems to be this year the French rivers and the Normandy beaches. But we go also to Egypt, to China, and we also do the Galapagos, which is not a river, but that's, of course, such a fragile environment that only certain cruise companies get to even offer that. And we're one of the lucky ones that do get to go to the Galapagos.
Wow, that sounds great. I have one last question.
You can come with me?
How do I become a cruise director?
Oh.
I want your job.
Okay, no problem. You can have the 18 or 19-hour days, and you can take care of the guests. But you know what? I do love my job.
I bet.
Just have to know languages, and you'd have to have lots of tour experience. So
Hola.
I think you would be perfect. So
Great.
if you want to join Cyndi and I on our next cruise, come on with us. Yeah?
So to learn more about Avalon, go to globusfamilypartner.com. If you're not registered with them, you can contact Tyler, and he will get you registered. But you can go on there, you can get training, you can learn about the different ships, the itineraries, and, you know, as we mentioned before, river cruising, it's the hottest trend right now. And if you're not promoting it and you're not talking about it with your clients, you're missing the boat, no pun intended.
You have to paint the picture.
And think about it. Think about all your clients that actually cruise. And this gives them the opportunity to still cruise, but get a whole different experience. And what's even more important, especially as a travel agent, we work on commissions. And it's such a profitable product to sell, where you're going to earn high commissions, more so than probably anything else that you have to sell. So,
Yeah, I just want to mention one more thing. When you're looking at a river cruise, I have to tell you that really consider Avalon, because we are part of the Globus family of brands. We have more clout in Europe than any other company because we're Globus, Cosmos, and Monograms. Therefore, if anything should come about, I've got a whole family behind me that can take care of your family. And that's huge. I mean, I think that's the most important reason why.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy Paredes.
Thank you,
Said that
Cyndi.
correctly?
That was wonderful.
Thank you. We're thrilled that you were able to make it in today. Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.